Hello everyone, this is Daniel Master Blowbug coming at you with another video. This time I'm just going to give you some more tips on role-playing and characters. This is going to be mainly about XP and loot and how that a lot of people focus that on the game, and that the game is so much more than just, you know, numbers on a sheet. You know, if you have a player who just, they make their character around performing well in battle or in whatever else that they might gain XP at just because they want XP. That might be kind of fun to them, you know, doing the hack and slash style type thing, but you know, I find it personally so much more rewarding to make a rich character who has goals and stuff that are in the game, not like an exterior XP, new magic weapon or whatever. You have role-playing oriented goals. I mean, if for those of you who haven't tried it before, I would highly recommend just trying it out. Just make one character. Just try it out. If you don't like it, then I apologize for imposing on your lifestyle, and you dislike the video if it makes you feel better, but just I urge you to try it at least once. It is, in my opinion, phenomenally superior to hack and slash. And plus it can make some DMs upset or angry or just get bored if they're trying to weave a good story and all you care about is getting the next loot item or the next XP from this next encounter. And one thing with War of Darkness that I really like and really hate at the same time is they have merits and flaws, which if you've never played War of Darkness, think feats in D&D, except a little different. How they're different is merits, you buy them with character creation points called freebie points, and flaws give you more freebie points, and then you can also use these freebie points to upgrade stats and various powers and whatnot. There's some pretty interesting merits and flaws that can make for some cool gameplay. But then you have the flaws that don't have any serious ramifications in the game, like no sense of taste. There's not a lot of occasions where your character is going to have a life or death situation on if he can, which burger tastes better or something, you know. I mean, I'm not saying you can't weave something around that, but it's just not very common. And sadly, people utilize these quote-unquote useless flaws that don't hamper their characters at all. And, you know, they just, especially if you're not role-playing, because if you're not role-playing and you take the tasteless flaw, you don't care if your character likes his food or not. You just care about them extra freebie points and buffing your character up. And that's one bad thing I like about merits and flaws. I love the original intended purpose to reward you for what your character was already doing. So maybe if you're doing a War of Darkness game, I would suggest maybe trying to have your characters make their characters, then assign them from your perspective merits and flaws, what you think is appropriate from their character's backstory. That might work. Some players might not like that, but that would make it so that there could be no cheating in your games or people just power gaming to get extra freebie points. Freebie points do have a cap in War of Darkness, which is nice, so you just stack on ridiculous amounts of useless flaws you will never use. For example, if you get a severe phobia of I don't know what's something called heights, but you're playing in like the desert with like just a massive desert with the biggest building in the desert, maybe 2 stories tall or something like that, and heights is not going to come into play very often at all in like a flat land like that with small buildings. And that's but if you get the severe version of it, that can give you, I think it's like 4 freebie points or something, which is a decent amount for War of Darkness character creation. And that's just basically free stuff that you get because you're never going to use it. Or if you're in the desert and you get severe hydrophobia or something else crazy that has nothing to do with the desert. Flaws, if they're gonna use flaws, your DM, they're gonna be used for so much fun in a game. Like, if you get a flaw where you're hunted, then you can have a hunter person be an antagonist for it. But also, your DM might get tired of you taking random flaws, and then I've read online where somebody had an allergy to some rare metal or something like that, and then they got his blood poisoned when he was playing vampire, and his character like died from it. So DMs can be pretty brutal, or sorry, storytellers can be pretty brutal when you aggravate them with taking useless flaws. So be careful with that, because just because you think this flaw is useless and can't hurt you in game, trust me, there's some people out there that are creative enough to find ways to kill your character by him having tastelessness. I might not be able to do it right off the bat. I have to do some thinking, but I mean, I'm sure there's some ways that you can do it. Back to the part about the XP. This is going more back to Dungeons and Dragons. I understand leveling up classes is fun, you know, getting new spells, getting new feats and whatever is fun if you're playing like 3rd edition and stuff, and I haven't really played too much into other editions, so I'm mainly speaking from a 3rd edition standpoint. It can be fun to grab new feats and spells and abilities that come with getting higher level, but that doesn't mean that you should break your character's immersion for the sake of XP. You know, if your DM says that, okay, you only get XP from killing people, and you're playing a paladin. There's a guy who honorably surrenders to you in a duel, but you kill him anyways just because you want the XP. I mean, for the most part, you should lose your paladin status for that, but even outside of that, even if you're just playing like a lawful good fighter with good morals, he isn't going to lose his fighter status for doing that, but he'll get XP for breaking character. You reward your players for breaking character. That's not good. I mean, if you want to, you can just cut that out. Say, if you act against your alignment, you don't earn XP. For example, if a chaotic evil person saves a baby from a burning building, then they don't get XP for it. But when a lawful good person saves a baby from a burning building, they get XP for it. Then you can do it like that. Personally, I don't really like alignments too terribly much. They can be good guidelines, especially if you're new for it, but if you got mature enough and advanced enough players and DM, it can be wonderful to play without alignments. I mainly play without alignments for the most part. You can watch my review on alignments video for more on that. But standard D&D, most people play with alignments, so it's pretty easy to work XP around alignments like that, so that you can make it so that players do not get rewarded for breaking character like that. Also, you can just use your judgment call on your players, and you know your players better than I do, and if your players are known to try to bend the rules, or if they're known cheaters or whatever, and you still play with them because you want to give them a second chance, or because for whatever other reason you might have, then there's ways to, if you think hard enough and be creative enough, there's ways you can fight back against them without necessarily having to ruin your game. You can just flat out tell them, you're the DM, you can tell them no about anything, and if they don't like it, then there's only so much they can do. They can either stop playing or they can complain about it, and if they complain too much, then it might get to be a problem, but that's a whole different subject. But like, just tell them that you don't like what they're doing and cut out their XP cost. Or if you don't want to do math, they're like a player who might argue with you or something, then honestly, when you get down to that much, I suggest you stop playing with them by then. But it's best to do it subtly if the person isn't doing it to be a straight up jerk. If they're just misunderstanding, like they're new to the hobby or something, you can sit them down and explain that's not how they're supposed to do things, and you don't like it how they're doing that, and they most of the time will be willing to, you know, compromise with you. And yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. I mean, I'm sure I might have missed something. I'm not perfect, but if you have any questions about something I forgot to mention, leave it in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share if you like the video. Dislike it if you didn't like it, but I ask that you please tell me why you didn't like it so I can improve in the future. If you did like it, leave what you did like about it. Also, I might be moving soon. I'm not positive on that, but if I am, I will try to get a video up about telling you guys that I'm moving. And if I can't get the video up and I don't do videos for a couple of days or whatever, just assume that I'm gonna be back soon because I gotta move. But anyways, this is Dungeon Master Loba signing off.